Super Citizen listeners, and also good morning to everyone on their way to work or maybe heading back home from work the previous day. My name is Sean Smith, and I will be reviewing the papers across the national dailies today. And as you know, we usually run through the Punch newspaper, Thursday newspaper, Daily Trust, Leadership newspaper, Vanguard, The Guardian, Nigerian Tribune, and also the Nation newspaper. And without wasting much of our time, our Super Citizen listeners, we implore that you pay attention to the stories across the national dailies today so that at the half-hour mark, you can call in to join the conversation. As you know, our in-house analyst, Mr. Salman Salami, who is also the Chief Operating Officer and a seasoned journalist, is here with me this morning. Good morning, sir.
Very good morning to you, Sean.
All right. So at the half-hour mark, we're going to jump into analysis of most of the stories, particularly the review of most of the stories that would find across the dailies. Now, without wasting much of our time, let's take a look at the Punch newspaper here. This morning on the cover story, on the cover page, it says that food crisis. OPS warns of shutdown as hoodlums loot more trucks. Food crisis. OPS warns of shutdown as hoodlums loot more trucks. The organized private sector has expressed concern about the spat of looting of trucks conveying food and raw materials by suspected hoodlums, warning that it can lead to a shutdown of industries across the country. Members of the OPS gave the warning on Monday in separate interviews with the Punch newspaper, just as migrants attacked trucks conveying building materials and spaghetti in Ogun and Kaduna states. And also on the same Monday, the federal government said it would start the distribution of free grains to states this week. That story you'd find on the Punch newspaper. And next one here says that Naira depreciation worsens Nigeria's foreign debt woes. Naira depreciation worsens Nigeria's foreign debt woes. And also we see that a lawyer says Binance executives in NSA custody cannot attend National Assembly hearing. Binance executives in NSA custody can't attend National Assembly hearing. And next here, we'll see that Discos reject 1,769 megawatts of electricity amid widespread blackout. Discos reject 1,769 megawatts of electricity amid widespread blackout. Idaosa sues INEC over Edo APC primary. Idaosa sues INEC over Edo APC primary. And next, it says that the Navy destroys illegal oil refining site in Rivers, Bayelsa, Ondo. Navy destroys illegal oil refining sites in Rivers, Bayelsa, Ondo. And taking a look at the Metro Plus on Punch newspaper, here it says that Ondo Amotekun arrest 67 over alleged kidnapping and robbery. Ondo Amotekun arrest 67 over alleged kidnapping and robbery. And here also on the Punch newspaper, it says on the top news that approach Zimbabwe for solution to inflation. Obasanjo tells the federal government. Approach Zimbabwe for solution to inflation. Obasanjo tells the federal government. And now EFCC says banks involved in 70% of financial crimes. Banks involved in 70% of financial crimes. And also, Dangote names refinery road after Wigwe. Dangote names refinery road after Wigwe. And in regards to the hardship AFDB plans $2.7 billion budget agri loans for Nigeria. AFDB plans $2.7 billion budget agri loans for Nigeria. And also the same NIN linkage, NCC defends blocking of phone lines. Lawyer slams 10 billion naira suit. NCC defends blocking of phone lines. Lawyer slams 10 billion naira suit. Now, the stories you'd find across the Punch newspaper. And let's go over to This Day newspaper and check what's happening on the latest headlines. Here it says that Dangote in tears names refinery road after Wigwe. Dangote in tears names refinery road after Wigwe. And now LCCI, we are concerned about likely perception federal government is not accommodative of foreign workers. We are concerned about likely perception federal government is not accommodative of foreign workers, says LCCI. And now Cardoso decries rising global public debt, says Nigerians of sovereign obligation stable. Cardoso decries rising global public debt, says Nigeria's sovereign obligations stable. So taking a look at This Day newspaper, it says Shatima says that government's policies strategic to strengthen nation's economy. Governance policies strategic to strengthen nation's economy. And Access Bank launches You Thrive, set aside 50 billion naira to empower over 700,000 MSMEs. Access Bank launches You Thrive, set aside 50 billion naira to empower over 700,000 micro, small, and medium scale enterprises, that is MSMEs in Nigeria. And now, still taking a look at This Day newspaper, it says here that Naira gains at official window depreciates at parallel to 1,534 naira to a dollar. Naira gains at official window depreciates at parallel to 1,534 naira to $1. And now also AFDB in talks to provide Nigeria with $1.76 billion. AFDB in talks to provide Nigeria with $1.76 billion, says additional. And now, in regards to medical tourism, Indian hospital to train Nigerian doctors on cancer treatment. Indian hospital to train Nigerian doctors on cancer treatment. The story you should find on the This Day newspaper for today, 5th March 2024. And now also taking a look at This Day newspaper on the part of politics. It says here that as Catholic bishops canvass solution to nation's economic hardship and insecurity. As Catholic bishops canvass solution to nation's economic hardship and insecurity. Here it reads that bishops of the Catholic Church in Nigeria recently gathered in Abuja to deliberate on critical issues affecting the faith and Nigerians in general. The clergymen were full of lamentations over the prevailing economic hardship and insecurity confronting Nigerians. As the president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, CBCN, Archbishop Lucius Iwejuru Ogoji mounted the rostrum to declare open the first plenary meeting of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria at the Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria Resource Center, Dudumi, Abuja. He was all lamentations over the current plight of the masses. You'd find that story on this day newspaper, and I'd implore that you get your hands on a copy of these papers as well. And next here as well, it says that federal government's efforts failed to make impact as cooking gas prices continue upward swing. The federal government's efforts failed to make impact as cooking gas prices continue upward swing. Here you would see that all efforts by the federal government to tame the skyrocketing prices of liquefied petroleum gas (LPG), otherwise known as cooking gas, have failed to impact the rate the products are sold in the open market, with a 5 kg cylinder selling for an average of 5,139.25 kobo in January. Now, the latest data from the National Bureau of Statistics show that on a year-on-year basis, the price Nigerians buy LPG increased by 12% from 4,588.74 in January 2023. However, this last survey figures released by the NBS may have been obsolete now, with the prices further rising substantially in February. So to say, the cost of cooking gas is rising as the day goes by. Now let's take a quick look at a Daily Trust newspaper and see what the news paper has in store for us this morning. Now looking at the top story of the Daily Trust newspaper, it says that children starving to death in northern Gaza hospitals, says WHO. The World Health Organization has said that an aid mission to 2 hospitals in northern Gaza found horrifying scenes of children dying of starvation amid dire shortages of food, fuel, and medicines, Turkish TRT World Report. The findings were grim. WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said on X, adding that the situation at Al-Auda was particularly appalling as one of the buildings is destroyed. That you'd find on Daily Trust newspaper. And also it says that Cardoso warns Nigeria on debt risk. Cardoso warns Nigeria on debt risk. And here, FCTA to get 9 perm sacks for mandate secretariat, says Wike. FCTA to get 9 perm sacks for mandate secretariat, says Wike. And now, looking at the next story, it says that why we monitor activities of rice grains bulk buyers in Niger. Why we monitor activities of rice grains bulk buyers in Niger, says Governor Bago. Next here it says NAMA to retiring officers build good strong families. The managing director of the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, Ahmed Umar Farouk, has urged intending retirees to redefine their roles as parents in order to reap the benefits of retirement. He has stated that, and he has urged intending retirees to redefine their roles as parents in order to reap the benefits of retirement. And now taking a look at the next story here on the Daily Trust, it says that Sheikh Dara, pardon me for that, it says here that Shatima launches initiative to create jobs. Shatima launches initiative to create jobs. And also, Oyo butchers hike meat price. Here we can see MPR Obaseki flays CBN, warns of tougher times ahead. Obaseki flays CBN, warns of tougher times ahead. And now Obasanjo warns youth against suicide. Obasanjo warns youth against suicide. The former president Olusegun Obasanjo on Monday warns the Nigerian youth against committing suicide as an escape route to their problems. He told them to to rather face their challenges and find ways out instead of ending their lives. He told them to rather face their challenges and find ways out instead of ending their lives. He spoke at a youth leadership symposium with the theme Opportunities for Peace, Roles of the Youth in Conflict Prevention in Africa, held at Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library at Belkota as part of activities lined up for the 87th birthday of the former president. And now moving on quickly to the next story here. It says that Tinubu says we are making peaceful efforts to return Niger others to ECOWAS. Tinubu says we are making peaceful efforts to return Niger others to ECOWAS. That you'd find on the Daily Trust newspaper. And looking quickly at Leadership newspaper, on the top story, it says that reps ask airline to refund 4 billion naira COVID-19 fund. Reps ask airline to refund 4 billion naira COVID-19 fund. And also on the latest headline, it says that federal government to begin distribution of grains this week. Federal government to begin distribution of grains this week. And now FRSC call marshal cautions against night travel as 17 die in 2 road crashes. FRS call marshal cautions against night travel as 17 die in 2 road crashes. The Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Dauda Alibiu, on Monday urged motorists to desist from traveling at night, overloading their vehicles and driving beyond lawful speed limits. Bill gave the warning following the death of 17 persons in 2 separate road crashes that occurred in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, and Kaduna State on Monday. And you find the story on Leadership newspaper, so you might as well get a copy of the paper to get up to speed with most of the stories and also so much more. And now a breaking story says that Governor Yusuf Darawa reconciled as Hisbah boss returns to office. Governor Yusuf Darawa reconciled as Hisbah boss returns to office. It says Sheikh Aminu Ibrahim Darawa has been reinstated as the commander of the Kano State Hisbah board after a reconciliatory meeting with Governor Abba Kabiru Yusuf at the Government House, Kano, on Monday night. The reconciliation was spearheaded by a coalition of ulama and Islamic organizations in Kano State. And then taking a look at the next story, it says that Islamic clerics organizations broker peace between Kano governor and Hisbah boss. And now quickly to the next, it says here that review fuel subsidy removal. Falana tells Tinubu. Review fuel subsidy removal. Falana tells Tinubu. Taking a look at the Vanguard newspaper, on the cover page it says here that corporate Nigeria shuts down Lagos for Wigwe. Corporate Nigeria shuts down Lagos for Wigwe, pardon me. Now, why seems previously linked to Nin were barred, says NCC. So if you'd like to know, or maybe your SIM card has been barred by due to the linkage, and even the ones that have been linked to NIN, and you realize that you've lost your SIM card and access to it, you might want to read the story and get up to speed with what NCC has come out to say. And now looking at the latest headlines or the latest news on Vanguard newspaper, it says that alleged financial crimes, why reps panel recommended arrest of Binance executives. Alleged financial crimes. Why Reps panel recommended arrest of Binance executives. And now taking a look at the next story, it says that federal government to hold zonal public hearings on minimum wage. Federal government to hold zonal public hearings on minimum wage. And when we hear of Edo Guba, it says that INEC opens candidates nomination portal. INEC opens candidate nomination portal. And also it says high cost of government, low outcome by the Kuku Peterside. High cost of government, low outcome by the Kuku Peterside. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has taken both symbolic and structural actions to demonstrate his belief that the current high cost of government is not sustainable. The first was an announcement or executive order directing ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs, to slash the size of official delegations for foreign and domestic trips by up to 60%, an action that resonated with the mood in the country. This is more like a column, so you would like to definitely read through this particular one. And still taking a look at Vanguard, Eric Teniola says a single party structure won't work. Eric Teniola says single party structure won't work. And now closing ranks against insecurity. On Vanguard, it says closing ranks against insecurity. And lastly, state government or state governors as Shylock landlords and emperors. State governors as Shylock landlords and emperors. That's that on the Vanguard newspaper. Quickly, let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper for today. And now taking a look at the cover page of the Guardian newspaper, it says that terror attacks decline amid new recruitment, rise in violent conflict. Terror attacks decline amid new recruitment, rise in violent conflict. Terrorism in 2023 has remained a global threat as a record of 8,352 deaths, representing 22% increase from the previous year, remains the highest since 2017. And the next says in the news that Navy arrests Ghanaian vessel for crude oil theft. Navy arrests Ghanaian vessel for crude oil theft. Next, tension in Benue varsity as ASU wants VC sacked. Tension in Benue varsity as ASU wants the vice chancellor sacked. And next here, killer herders, Huriwa backs Igboho, slams Mieti Allah. Killer herders, Huriwa backs Igboho, slams Mieti Allah. Now, taking a quick look at the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, it says here on the cover page that Okpebolo, not APC legitimate candidate, Idahosa writes INEC. Okpebolo, not APC legitimate candidate, Idahosa writes INEC. And now the breaking news says Dangote names Lagos Refinery Road after Herbert Wigwe. This is a story that we've seen across some of the national dailies that we've looked at this morning, like the Punch newspaper and also our Daily Trust newspaper. And now latest update says Ondo 2024, Akere Dolu's wife, husband's niece at loggerheads over support for Aye Datiwa. Akere Dolu's wife, husband's niece at loggerheads over support for Aye Datiwa. And now NITP to Lagos government recruits more town planners. NITP to Lagos government recruit more town planners. And that is the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners (NITP) President Mr. Nathaniel Atebije has called on the Lagos State government to recruit more town planners for the implementation of various development plans in the state. You find that one on the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. And looking at the next, it says that Ekiti government advises youth to embrace agribusiness for self-reliance. Ekiti government advises youth to embrace agribusiness for self-reliance. Next, government not leaving any stone unturned to combat fraud in real estate. Government not leaving any stone unturned to combat fraud in real estate. Now, quickly, on the Nation newspaper, the cover story says government takes minimum wage talks to Nigerians in zones. Government takes minimum wage talks to Nigerians in zones. On the latest headline, it says Abuja warehouse looting criminal, says minister. Abuja warehouse looting criminal, says minister. CBN slashes FX duty rate by 5.3%. Tinubu back in Abuja after 2-day trip to Qatar. Tinubu back to Nigeria after 2-day trip in Qatar. Tinubu also seeks global partners' support in Africa's battle against arms proliferation. Tinubu seeks global partners' support in Africa's battle against arms proliferation. You find that one on the Nation newspaper. And also, it says here that Kanu's 1 billion naira suit against the DSS gets March 18 due. Kanu's 1 billion naira suit against the DSS gets March 18 date. And lastly, we can see that Mutwang says the president inherited economy worse than in 1999. Mutwang says that the president inherited economy worse than in 1999. And now, with all of that being said and looked at from across the national dailies, Punch, This Day, Daily Trust, Leadership newspaper, Vanguard, Guardian, Nigerian Tribune, and also the Nation newspaper, we should go on a very short break, and when we are back, would properly analyze some of the stories with our in-house analyst this morning. To call and interact with us, the number to call is 0903 2229 797, 0903 2229 797, or send us a message via WhatsApp on 0818 2222 205, 0818 2222 205. And with that, let's go on a very quick break. When we're back, we'll kickstart from where we left off. Many thanks for staying tuned. Welcome back to Citizen 93.7 FM. How's the weather out there? Anyways, and also, how are we holding up with the hardship in this present time? We're about to review the papers, some of the stories across national dailies with our in-house analyst. And once again, the phone line to call is 0903 2229797 0903 2229797, or send us a message on WhatsApp, or also even call us on this number 0818 2222205 0818 And I would like to kickstart this morning's review with the cover story on Punch newspaper that says food crisis, OPS warns of shutdown as hoodlums loot more trucks. The organized private sector has expressed its concern about the spate of looting of trucks conveying food and raw materials by suspected hoodlums, warning that it can lead to a shutdown of industries across the country. We are very much aware that sometime on Sunday, hoodlums attacked a warehouse belonging to the Agricultural and Rural Development Secretariat of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, located in the Day area of the capital city, where they looted rice, grains, and other relief items. And another group made an attempt to loot a private warehouse in the Idu Industrial Estate, Jabi, Abuja, but they were rebuffed by soldiers guarding the facility. But with this, the OPS has come forth to express their own discomfort and want of shutdown in regards to this. And now over to our in-house analyst. What exactly, sir, would you make of this? What is your take on this particular story?
Good morning, our Super Citizen listeners, and good morning, Nigerians. Well, this is a serious matter, and it's a matter for concern. A situation whereby hoodlums and miscreants, or whatever name they are called, will swoop on either government facility or private facility to vandalize it and loot whatever is in the warehouse is unacceptable. It is just not acceptable. You will recall that the agricultural department their facility was vandalized in Day. There was an attempt again to vandalize a private facility at Idu Industrial Estate by criminals. We said this yesterday at Citizen FM that no matter what, there is no name you call a crime. A crime remains what it is. It is a crime. And the Minister of State for FCT, the minister was out yesterday to condemn the act, and she, in no unclear terms, described the actions of the hoodlum as criminal. There is no justification for vandalizing a warehouse. Yes, there is hardship in the land. No doubt, people are suffering. But is that a reason or an excuse for anybody to just forcibly open a warehouse, knowing fully well that, one, it does not belong to you, two, you have no authority over the warehouse, and three, even if it is government facility, is that how things are done? The minister came out to say the grains, in actual fact, were meant for the people, but there must be order in the distribution, and they were waiting to organize the way the thing will be distributed, only for the hoodlums to attack the facility. This is unacceptable. Now, for the organized private sector to express concern about the spate of attack clearly shows that there is danger looming around, because a situation whereby trucks and vehicles conveying foodstuffs will be attacked by hoodlums simply because there is hunger in the land is a clarion call to anarchy, and this is not acceptable. We can't turn the country into what I call Obesian state, brutish, short and deadly. We cannot. There is the need for order, and this is where I call on the security agents. The agencies should please do the needful and nip this thing in the bud. A situation whereby at the drop of a hat is just to attack warehouses is quite unacceptable. It is illegal, it is unlawful, it is unacceptable, it is criminal, and the police and indeed the law enforcement agents should do the needful.
All right, thank you very much, sir. I'm very sure the some areas of the law enforcement agencies are definitely listening and paying attention, and I'm sure they've heard what our in-house analyst had to say. And now let's even move on to the next story. This one is on This Day newspaper. It says that as Catholic bishops canvass solutions to nation's economic hardship and insecurity, they recently gathered in Abuja to deliberate on critical issues affecting the faith and Nigerians in general. Mr. Salami, sir, over to you.
Well, this is the role I believe the religious organizations should be playing. They should be seen to be part and parcel of the solution to the myriads of problems pervading in the society. It is heartwarming to know that the Catholic bishops at their Catholic Bishops Conference deliberated on the prevailing economic hardship in the land. This is salutary. This is commendable. This should be the role of the clerics and religion. After all, what is religion all about? All religious organizations should please support the government in finding practicable solution to the myriads of problems facing this country, bedeviling the country. They should be seen to be part of the solution, and it is critical now for the religious bodies to preach against vandalism, to preach against hooliganism, to preach against looting. It is immoral. No religion preaches stealing. Put simply, attacking warehouses is theft, is stealing. You cannot justify it. You cannot say because there is hunger in the land, the next thing to do is to attack warehouses. It is just unacceptable, and it's sheer act of criminality. That is it. Let's call a spade a spade. You cannot in whatever form or in whatever way justify criminality. This is why we should appreciate what the Catholic bishops are doing now. All other clerics, all other religious organizations should please come together and preach against any act of immorality. It is not right. We can't build a nation like this. There is no room for criminality. Criminals should be dealt with, and they should be dealt with decisively.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Salami. Now, even talking about the economy, we see here that Muftwang, who Who is the Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang has said that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu inherited a Nigeria whose economy was worse than how it was in 1999. And he spoke at the swearing-in of 22 special advisors yesterday in Jos, the state's capital. And he said, and I quote, "We are at a very difficult juncture in the history of this country. I am an advocate that after elections, you forget politics and face governance." Mr. Salami.
Well, Barrister Caleb Mutfwang, the governor of Plateau State, has said it the way it is. He has reported it verbatim, even though he's not a journalist, but a lawyer. But he has called a spade by its name, a spade. Well, I would disagree with him that the rhetoric should be, we met a bad economy. For how long are we going to bemoan what you met? You were elected because people believe that you are the person who could do the job. Please face the job. Do the job. Yes, the situation is bad. Yes, perhaps you met a bad situation. But you are elected because people believe in you that you could turn it around. Please turn it around and talk less about the situation you met. This is not the time to start talking of the bad past. Give us a glorious today.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Salami, for that one. During the course of the review and the run-through, we did see a story on Daily Trust that says Obasanjo warns youth against suicide. Obasanjo, that is the former president Olusegun Obasanjo, on Monday warned the Nigerian youth against committing suicide as an escape route to their problems. He told them, to rather face their challenges and find ways out instead of ending their lives. And this he did when he spoke at a youth leadership symposium. And in the same vein, Obasanjo tells the federal government to approach Zimbabwe for solution to inflation. He tells the federal government to approach the government of Zimbabwe for a solution to the current all-time high inflation in the country. He noted that since Zimbabwe was recently confronted with the same problem and came out of it, the southern African country, would have useful advice from Nigeria. In its latest release, the NBS, that's the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, put Nigeria's inflation at 29.9%. The country is currently grappling with high cost of living, with pockets of protesters breaking out across the country as Nigerians contend with increasing prices of foodstuff. Now, Mr. Salami, with those two stories, what exactly do you make of it?
You see, we thank God that we have leaders in this country. It is good that we have statesmen in this country. We have elders. And the Yoruba says that where there are leaders, the society will be better. But Obasanjo unequivocally, unarguably, is one of the consciences of this country. Baba is a national asset. Arguably or unarguably, he remains one of those who speaks truth to power. For Baba to say that the federal government should please borrow a leaf from what happened in Zimbabwe means that we are getting close to the solution to our problem. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said that follow those who know the road. Zimbabweans, they know the road. They have passed through this road before. There is super inflation in the country in such a manner that common basic needs are not accessible and not affordable. And it's out of the reach of the pocket of the common man. Why don't we borrow a leaf and consult those who had passed through that route before. There's nothing to be ashamed of. After all, you follow the person who knows the road. Nigerians followed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu because they believe that he does know the road. As it is today, there is no controversy over the election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria today. The Supreme Court had pronounced on it. The Supreme Court is the highest court of the land. And this is time for governance. It is no more time for politics. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should face the serious job of governance and provide practicable solution to the myriads of problems bedeviling this country. What is government there for? Welfare and well-being of the citizen and protection of lives and property. These are the basic objectives of any government. What being so called. So that is one. Baba did not stop there. Baba Obasanjo did not stop there. He did say, or he did warn the youths against suicide. You see, why suicide? Suicide in itself and by itself can never be the solution to any problem. When you terminate your life, when you end your life, have you solved the problem? I've been saying that the finality of death makes death sentence unreasonable. If you want to punish yourself for unfulfilled hopes and dreams, is it by taking that life? By taking the life, you have not solved any problem. In actual fact, you have added to the problem. To you, you might think that you have ended it all. You have relations. You have families. The emotional torture you allow you will allow them to, they will go through. It's more than enough. If you care, if truly you are concerned, if truly you love your people, you will not take your life. The question you will ask is this act I want to carry out, how will it affect my people? And if you factor that in, you will know that it is not worth it. It is not necessary. There is a solution to any problem. In actual fact, every problem has an expiry date. It will expire. All you need to do is to do hard-headed thinking. Confront the problem head on. And you'll be surprised that it's not even a problem, that you are the one magnifying it. It's a question of perception. There's no such problem that you cannot solve. God being on your side.
Very true.
There is nothing impossible. Impossibility is not in any lexicon. It is your creation. Please our youth. Please our children. Suicide is not an option. It can never be.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Salami. Now, talking about preservation and whatnot, WHO, that's the World Health Organization, has said that an aid mission to 2 hospitals in northern Gaza found horrifying scenes of children dying of starvation amid their shortages of food, fuel, and medicines. According to WHO Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus, who says that the findings were very, very grim. The situation at Al-Alda was particularly appalling as one of the buildings is destroyed. Now, this is definitely away from our local point and obviously on the foreign scene. So, Mr. Salami, quickly and briefly, sir, what do you think about this? What do you make of this?
What will any normal human being think about this than to feel sad? Because humanity is being debased. But we are trying at Citizen FM to bring the Palestinian ambassador to the station. I think he will talk more on this. Let's leave it at that.
Okay, all right. To round up this newspaper review for today, we'll actually take a look at one of the stories that says Well, there's a story here that says that Dangote in tears names refinery road after Wigwe. Apparently, he says that he feels hopeless, helpless, unable to help his friend. And also, Clinton, Obasanjo, others pay tribute to late banker. And Sanwo-Olu pledges to immortalize him in an emotion-laden voice. Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest man, fought hard to hold back tears but couldn't as he led a horde of private sector professionals to pay tribute to the late Access Holdings Group CEO, Dr. Herbert Wigwe. He described Wigwe as a visionary, a perfectionist who gave so much of himself for others, but said he was partly consoled because Wigwe's transformative strides were all over the landscape. And then Dangote stated that Wigwe broke all records and pushed boundaries in banking, reshaped the sector, emphasizing that his philanthropy will never be forgotten. Quickly, Mr. Salami, let's hear your view take on this particular story.
Well, I was moved to tears, very close to tears yesterday because I watched everything on China's television. And when it was the turn of Aliko Dangote to pay his own tribute to the renowned banker, HOW, Hubert Wigwe, who died in that helicopter crash together with the wife, the son, and his bosom friend, Barrister Abimbola Ogunbanjo. It was a moving sight yesterday. When Dangote came up to speak, he did everything humanly possible to hold back the tears, but he couldn't. And I had to ask myself that what I'm watching, is it real? Look, it is not the death of Wigwe in itself and by itself that moved those people to tears. It is the impact of his life. We've been saying this and will continue to say it, that any life that does not touch the life of other people positively is a useless life. It is not the number of years you pack into life. It is the number of life you pack into years that matters. Yes, you could say what I'm saying is consolatory. Yes, it is. It is, no doubt. But Wigwe lived well. Hubert made impact. Hubert touched lives. And he realized early in life that the essence of life is raising other people, being a destiny helper. Wherever we find ourselves, in our own little way, let us make impact. Okay. Let us raise people. Don't let us be PhD. Pull him down.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Salami. That is a very easy comic relief with the really sad story about Herbert Wigwe's death. But here at Citizen FM 93.7, we've come to an end of today's newspaper review, and we thank our listeners for being a part of this with us. And also, I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Salami for being a part of this morning. Join us at same time tomorrow. We tend to review the papers Monday through Saturday here at Citizen 93.7. Until you hear my voice again, do stay tuned and have a wonderful morning. Good morning once again, Mr. Salami, and thank you.
You are welcome. Thank you very much. And our Super Citizen listeners, we cannot wait to hear from you. We need your feedback. We are here because of you. Thank you very much.